you'll never completely know yourself or the people around you. I think it's, as much of a person as much as they will let you in and let them know about you. I mean, you hear about it all the time. Someone passes away, and after that you'll hear stories from other people, and you learn so much about that. In fact, I had a grandfather who passed away this year, and there was so much about that man I did not know. I really knew nothing about him. And it was after he passed and I learned all these things. I was like, well, that's interesting. In fact, the year before that, I also found out I have German in me. It only took 32 years to find that out, because my grandma was kind of lucid that day and just kind of let it slip, and then explained why she hid it, which silly, but it's stuff like that happens. And in fact, about knowing yourself, you'll never completely know yourself because you're always changing, you're always growing. And in fact, you meet people, say, you know what, when I was in my 20s, I thought I knew everything. But now that I'm in my 30s, now I know everything. Then when they hit their 40s or 50s, oh, you know what, back then I was an idiot. I didn't know anything. Now I know everything. Go 30 years after that, they go, you know what, when I was in my 50s, I was an idiot. I was a young punk. Now I know everything. You're always changing, you're always growing. Or at least you should be. If you stay one thing and that's all you know, I'm sorry, but you've wasted so much time. And I mean, there are people like that. I mean, you look at some of those guys that just live out their high school lives all over, and that's all they obsess about. That's fine. You had a great period of life, but you still have much more time. Don't focus on your past. Just keep moving forward. If it sucks right now, embrace it. It does suck. Try to improve it. Change. Do something. So, I mean, it's one of those things. I mean, there's no absolute. There never will be. If there was, then that means, you're a drone. Congratulations. Welcome to the hive. For the rest of us, no. There's absolutely no way you'll completely know yourself. I mean, it's just, you're always changing.
Let's go into intuitive,
Okay.
Your intuitive behavior or intuitive abilities, let's say. I mean, as a person that as an artist, you kind of reflect on things, and to reflect on things around you, and to paint it, and to either make a statement or no statement, or whatever, there is a certain intuitive behavior that happens. Like you are reading body signals. You keep hearing the same things over again.
Yeah.
That intuition. I mean, can you kind of talk about that
Sure.
in your sense of?
Well, a lot of the pieces I'll see, whether it's walking around, or if I go somewhere, I'm standing in line somewhere, or I'm just reading the news. I'll find something that just really. Sometimes it's something that'll get under my skin. Like, oh, this just. I got to address it. Or other times, I love people watching sometimes. I'll be in line at the post office, right there in St. James Park, and you have some crazy-ass people around that area. A bunch of tweakers, addicts, and just generally off-kilter, weird people. But it's in these small little, redundant activities, standing in line, something just really low-key and just undramatic. Sometimes where you'll notice like a lot of the personal quirks of someone, and you'll find those little idiosyncrasies, and it's funny because you kind of learn more about those people, but at the same time, I'm sitting in line for a half hour, so I'll kind of daydream skits in my head just to not be completely bored. So I might put it into a different concept, or deconstruct it and think of it as a basically kind of as if I'm in a morgue doing a report on a cadaver, of not of the person, but of just their activity, and just kind of taking out ideas from
Dissecting?
Well, not really dissecting, I guess. I don't know. It's weird. Like, it's just seeing that, like, that simple, really, just absolutely nothing. I mean, just simplicity. And that's the lawnmower. You're
Lawnmower outside.
Yes. Okay, local artists in San Jose, there's an amazing amount of talent. And there's a lot of artists I know that are just phenomenal. However, like myself, it's hard to sustain ourselves here in this town. We have so much wealth, so much money in tech, and yet so little people actually collect and support the arts. And that's just a damn fact. I've been doing so many shows outside of this area, in New York, LA, San Francisco, even overseas, just because I have to go where people are going to collect. You have so many people here that are willing to spend $500 on a new iPhone, which is going to be upgraded within a year or 6 months, but they will not even pay an undercut price for a painting that's a one of a kind, because it's not disposable enough. It's something that's not flashy enough. You know, they don't care about originality. They just want the hottest new product. And there's only a handful of venues, and mind you, they're great venues. And there are people like Brian and Sherry that have really helped, you know, keep a scene. But the problem is, when you only have a handful of locations to show at, you keep showing at the same places. You know, the people that see your work, it's like anywhere. If you're the local, you're the hometown boy, you're not going to do well in your hometown. It's just because they see you all the time. So you always have to be the outsider. When you're the outsider, then people look at you because they don't know you, they don't see you. So as far as me in San Jose, this is my home base, but I'm not focusing on showing in San Jose anymore. I just can't. I will continue to do shows, but my focus right now is getting out of, you know, my work out of San Jose, just because I need to survive at doing this, and being in a town where people are just not collecting, and a town that really just doesn't give a shit about local art, you know, outside of the venues. I mean, you have, for an example, the 01 Festival. You know, their whole idea was about bringing arts to San Jose. So what do? They bring artists from outside of California, from New York. When you have all this local talent, you basically shit on your own local scene. So that really says it in a nutshell. So, I mean, for a city that has no problem spending a shitload of money on glass for City Hall cleaning, and then basically bankrupting themselves, they've been able to cut all their, you know, basically adult ed and art support. I mean, why would I focus all my attention in a town that's trying to kill it? But like I said, this is my home base. I'll continue making pieces here, but I can't do them at the same locations all the time, so I might not be showing as much in San Jose as I used to. I'll still try to show as often as I can and be around and show some support, you know, continue to curate shows. And really, I mean, if you're seeing this from outside of San Jose, you should check out the scene here. I mean, there's just a phenomenal amount of amazing artists that are based here that you might see in a lot of other places. My name is Michael Foley, aka the guy who talks line is a prick.